I value your opinion on that.
That's the nicest thing. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, dude. I'm blushing over here. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down one of their records. We get into the music, the lyrics, the artwork, how it was made, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. All the social media is at Asinine Radio. Go give us a follow. Share the post, tell all your friends. That's all I got for the boring intro. Let's jump right into it. What are we doing today, Jeff? Go.
We're doing the Mötley Crüe and their album Girls, Girls, Girls.
Girls, Girls, Girls. This is their 4th record from, I don't like that, 4th record from May 1987. And this is my favorite, or my second favorite, I'm sorry, my second favorite Mötley Crüe record.
It's just
not my favorite. It's close.
It's not
close.
Even close.
It's close. I do love this record a lot. And why the hell, I forgot, why did we want to do this record this week? It was kind of a last minute thing.
We wanted to do Mötley Crüe because of something that happened. I don't remember what it was. Something happened and we were like, oh yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
I think I was listening to my vinyl copy of Girls of this record, and I sent you a picture that I was listening to, and I think we went down this we had a conversation about hair metal, and we're like, why don't we just redo it and kind of put it to bed? I think that's what it was.
Yes.
I think that's what it was.
It probably had something to do with the vinyls. Maybe like one of us were going to listen to either like 80s stuff or go the other way and listen to like early 70s metal.
No. Okay, now I remember. I listened to this record on vinyl, and then the next day, randomly, you said that you got an OG copy of Shout at the Devil. That's what it was. And then that's what led it. And I said, I was just listening to Mötley Crüe last night. And then that led us down the road of wanting to do this on the pod. Or to do them on the pod. But yeah, there you go. I don't know. Mötley Crüe.
Here we are.
Cool band. Let's get into our origin story with Mötley Crüe. How we heard about them, where we heard them first. So what do you got? Go.
My mom liked Mötley Crüe. She was into Mötley Crüe.
Okay.
This came out when we were born, dude. Like this album came out the year we were born.
Just a couple months after we were born. Yeah.
That's fucking wild to think about. Just when we were born, dude. So my mom liked Mötley Crüe. She wasn't in love with Mötley Crüe, but like I think any girl probably in Southern California in the 80s liked Mötley Crüe.
Especially if you were a certain age.
That's kind of what I gather. Like if dude, fucking anybody like in Southern California in the 80s just enjoyed Mötley Crüe in some capacity. But I never really gave them their dues because, for one, like I hate glam metal just with a passion, just can't stand it. And two, like Girls, 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 and then some of their later singles, I just like, this is your fucking band, really? So I never really gave Mötley Crüe their due until we started collecting the vinyls. And I got Shout at the Devil, my copy that I have now, from Desi. And it's like a beat up copy, but I mean, it's still like a good copy and it plays. And I played it on my turntable and it sounds fine. It's a little noisy, but yeah, I was like, damn, this is pretty fucking good actually. And then kind of like diving more into their first couple records and realizing this is actually a really cool fucking band. And there's a lot of stuff here that I like and enjoy that is not hair metal, because there's a lot of punk influence here. There's a lot of straight metal influence here. And to say that Mötley Crüe is hair metal is kind of, it
does them a disservice.
Yeah. Because the hair metal thing wasn't a thing until Mötley Crüe made it a thing. And the first few records aren't hair metal at all.
That's true.
I don't know. My mom and then the vinyls. That's my origin story.
Mom and then the vinyls. You know, I honestly don't really know where I first heard Mötley Crüe because my parents weren't into it. They never really liked heavy metal. My mom liked a lot of like new wave, like Blondie and Devo and shit like that, and then like Queen, Ted Nugent. But she was never into the '80s stuff like Bon Jovi, Mötley Crüe, Guns N' Roses. She never really cared for that. I think she was because my mom's a bit older than yours, so I think it's just an age thing. I think my mom was already out of that kind of phase. So yeah, I mean, I never really grew up with them. I think the first time I ever really remember hearing them was on like VH1, like one of those like countdown shows that they used to do on VH1 back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I've since then I've always liked the singles. And then they put out a song on like a compilation like in 2006 that I really liked. It was only on that compilation, that Greatest Hits, and it's called Sick Love Song.
That song is not good.
I really like that song, man.
That song is not good, man.
I really, really like it.
It reminded me of like bad metalcore. Like it's just like the beginnings of metalcore or something. It's just okay. That was not good.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, friend of the pod, Annie. She always used to make fun of me when that song came out, and I told her how much I loved it, and I would make her listen to it, and she probably would still make fun of me to this day about it. But I don't know what it is about it, but I really like that song. But yeah, and then it's always been singles that I've liked, and then I got this album Girls, Girls, Girls on vinyl. I think I got it from Aldo's Attic, Uncle Aldo's Attic, out in Arizona for like $10 maybe, and yeah, I got it because I like the singles, and then come to find out this record's actually really fucking good. And now this week, here we are. We've listened to all the Mötley Crüe records. We've already ranked them, and now we're getting into this their fourth record, Girls, Girls, Girls. So let's get into our initial. I guess we've kind of talked about our initial thoughts, but let's get into that. If we have any stinkers, bangers, and we'll go from there. So what do you got?
Do you want initial thoughts, stinkers, or bangers?
Well, how we do it is initial thoughts,
okay,
stinkers and bangers.
Well, you said like initial thoughts, but we kind of did that, and you kind of went off. But
right. We still kind of okay. You know what I'm doing? Go.
Well, I don't know what you're doing. Initial thoughts. I like Shout at the Devil. I'm the most familiar with it because I own on the vinyls. So that was always going to probably be like the incumbent, right? Like everything would have to be way better than Shout at the Devil for it not to be number one. So I get it. But like Too Fast for Love, I never listened to it in its entirety until this week. And that was close, man. Album. That was fucking close. That is their punk album, and that was close. Girls, 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 that was never even in contention for top two. It's just not, because there are stinkers on this record. Straight up
But it's just
stinkers.
So much fun. There's one stinker.
What's your stinker?
It's the ballad. I can't even
You're All I Need
right now. Yeah, You're All I Need.
Yeah, dude, that's a stinker. Fucking through and through. Not even close. Like that. Yeah, that's a stinker. But there's only like 4. I have 4 bangers. That's it.
I got 9.
That's well.
I think these songs are great, man.
Okay.
They're crazy.
All right, so we can just skip the stinker entirely because that song's garbage.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to talk about that is the video. Did you watch the video for that?
Yes. I watched all these videos.
Oh my god, the video was so bad. It was unbelievably bad.
But
I mean, all of them are bad, but at least like they're goofy.
Yeah.
But this one tried to take itself seriously. Oh my god, it's about like domestic abuse, and it was the acting was terrible. The cinematography was terrible. Oh, it was god awful.
I mean, we'll get to it lyrically later on, but like, don't forget, this is an album that's titled Girls, Girls, Girls. And so like, You're All I Need, the video taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
There's also like a song on here that's straight like statutory rape.
Oh, and yeah. And pedophilia. Like there's
a lot of stuff on here that kind of like undermines the idea of You're All I Need. And that's why that song was just atrocious in all sense of the word.
Yeah. Whatever though. I don't really care to talk about it anymore. It's fucking terrible.
Boom, highlighted in red, baby. Moving on.
So yeah, I mean, I guess but I don't really have no initial thoughts. Is it just
I have a lot of okay songs though. Like these aren't all bangers. Dancing on Glass,
but they're
okay. Bad Boy Boogie, okay. 5 Years Dead, okay. All in the name of okay. Something for Nothing,
right,
okay.
Right. Those are lower. Well, so Dancing on the Glass is my 9B. 5 Years Dead is my 7. Bad Boy Boogie is my 6. My 6B.
What
six
is
banger
what is Something for Nothing?
3B, baby. My 3rd banger.
That's your 3B?
I love that song, man.
Okay. All right. Let's get into this one first because I'm excited about it. I'm ready to go. Here's my initial thought about this one. Okay. We know Tenacious D loves metal music. Like that's what they do. They play metal music on acoustic guitars. The intro to Something for Nothing is the fucking same exact thing as the song The Metal. The
oh yeah, huh?
Even that fucking like that little like single drum beat hit, right? It's the same fucking thing.
That's true, huh?
I tried like furiously Googling if there was any correlation, if they ever said anything about it. They never have. I like to think that they were paying homage to kind of this thing because this intro is insane.
It is, I love
this intro.
I'm listening to it right now. Yeah, you're right. That
dude, it's the same thing.
That intro
right?
is identical. Yeah, holy shit.
And I hope it's just that maybe like a subconscious thing that like, oh yeah, I fucking love that because the Something for Nothing intro is amazing. And Mick Mars seriously has some amazing bluesy metal licks throughout this song. And this album too.
He totally does. Yeah, the whole record. Dude, he's doing shit that is way over the heads of every guy in the band. Like if it wasn't for his guitar playing, these songs would be nothing. This band would be nothing without Mick Mars. Hands down. Like, yeah, the songs are catchy, like the choruses are catchy, but they're so, I don't want to say few and far between, but their choruses are always really short. There's not a lot to their choruses. It's always Mick. Like Mick, when he starts the songs off with some killer fucking riff or lick, and his solos, his leads are just so, they're the perfect amount of wankiness and just class. He knows how to write a fucking solo to a song. Like he's not just ripping it up like Eddie Van Halen, and no disrespect to Eddie Van Halen, but we all know he fucking just goes for it and does whatever the fuck he wants, and it still sounds great. Like Mick is very much more, he thinks it out a lot more than somebody like Eddie Van Halen.
You know,
I don't know. He's a great guitar player.
I'm gonna track back a little bit and then retract my statement. I think all 4 of these guys are equally as important to this band as everybody else. I think if you took one of them out, this band would suck.
But I think that only comes down to the lore. I don't think that has to do with the music per se.
Dude, lore is like everything with this band, though.
For them,
band
yeah,
is lore. Is. Not many bands can say that, right? Like a lot of like music is based on like what you can write as a musician. But very, very infrequently do we get a band that is so big because of their lore. Like what other band is this big because of the extracurriculars?
Yeah. More so. I mean, I guess the only other band you could honestly compare him to is the Sex Pistols, where the lore is bigger than the music.
Yeah, that's true.
But the big difference is that Mötley Crüe is actually really good. Sex Pistols are fucking garbage. But honestly, the lore is bigger. The lore is bigger than the band or the music.
Yeah. So I don't know. Mick Mars is a fantastic guitar player. He has roots in blues rock. He can play it. You can hear him come out more so in this album than any album they did prior to this. He's a lot of cool licks. He's a lot of cool solos. But
it's because he's playing like blues riffs. He's not just doing metal. He's not just playing metal music or punk music. There's way more, I don't want to say technical ability on this record, but there's just way more nuance to his playing as well. Because there's different types of songs. It's not just like punk and then a couple ballads and that's it. Like, you know, was it not Bad Boy Boogie. What's the fucking name of that song?
Something for Nothing?
No, not Something for Nothing. No, Bad Boy Boogie. That is straight up a blues song.
Yeah.
It's a hard blues song, hard rock blues song. I mean, they never, I don't think anything off of the first 2 records or anything like that song.
No,
and there's
that was the first time we actually got to hear Mick Mars solo the way he soloed before he was in Mötley Crüe.
Yeah, exactly. It's incredible. It's an incredible fucking song and album. This album's great. But Something for Nothing. Where does that one? You said it was like your 9B?
That's an okay song. That's not even a B. It's not that good of a song. It's not.
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. Also, just the way that like Tommy Lee's playing, it's very, very bouncy. He throws the cowbell in there a little bit too, just to kind of like church it up.
Same fucking thing every
But it's good.
song.
But it works.
Then
He
just
has some cool
replace him.
fills.
He's
He has some
like,
cool fills.
He's the Lars Ulrich of fucking Mötley Crüe. All he does is that same thing. That just fucking he hits the bass on every single note, right? Just every single beat.
He does.
Doof, 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 drive it forward. That's all we got to do.
And he loves to hit
worst
the
bass player of all time.
He loves to hit the bell on the ride so much to really have it cut through the mix too. He fucking loves hitting that bell.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just okay. I get it.
But I mean, honestly, okay. So I guess one of the negative things I have to say about this song is that we're at the end of the record, toward the end of the record, and this song, it's great. The riff is cool, the chorus is catchy as hell. But at this point, they've already done this song like 3 times on the record, but they do it really well.
3 times it's just on this record, and every record subsequent to this.
That's true. Yeah, they really had a formula at this point.
That's fine. And nothing wrong with that, because this band, to me, is not a band that I'm listening to solely because of their music. I'm not dissecting this the way I'm dissecting like fucking the Mars Volta, the way I'm dissecting Miles Davis. I'm dissecting this band based on their extracurriculars, just how much fun I'm having listening, reading, thinking about what is happening.
That's what it is. Like when you listen to when I listen to this, I'm just smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is so much fun. I'm having a blast.
For good or bad.
You rarely get that with music. Yeah. You have fun. You just have fun listening to it. But then I also think some of it is when you hear this music, for me, I'm instantly transported to like the 1980s, even though I was not even born at this time. I was just a baby. But I feel like I was there. I feel like I was on the Sunset Strip. I was going to the Whiskey. I was going to the Troubadour, all that kind of shit. When I listened to this band, when I listened to these first 3-4 records, I feel like I'm fucking there. It's crazy. It's crazy how that instantly transports me there. But I don't know. We're obviously going to get more into the lore than anything, but
this is an achievable sound. This is a sound that bands wanted to achieve more than anything else. Like there would be no Guns N' Roses without Mötley Crüe. There would be no like Poison. There would be no a lot of these like later 80s hair metal groups without like Mötley Crüe. And these guys, they didn't intend to go out and create a genre, create a scene, create anything. They intended to just go out and fuck girls and get drunk. And that was it. That's all they wanted to do. And they didn't give a shit about fucking anything else except being complete douchebags.
That's what 3 of the guys wanted to do. But then you had The Rock, that was Mick Mars, who was actually a good musician and who was older than, like 10, 11, 12 years older than the guys. And so he's there. He's not there to get as crazy as the rest of the guys. He's already done the stuff. He's more mature. He's just there for the music and to make a living playing music. So that's why he's there. But had they not had a Mick Mars as that foundation, the band would have imploded like every other hair metal glam metal band did in the 1980s. Every other band fucking completely imploded on itself except for Mötley Crüe. Mötley Crüe stayed the same up through 1991, 1992 when Vince Neil left. And that was for so many different reasons. And not only that, what Mötley Crüe went through, all the shit that they did in the 80s was way worse than every other fucking band in the genre. Yeah. And yet they still held it together. They still put out this music. And I think that has solely to do with Mick Mars because he wasn't the partier. He was the rock, the foundation of this band.
I mean, I think
that's what it is.
Man, I think so. There's a lot of things going on here. One, I think there's no other rock band that has ever existed that has the dynamic that Mötley Crüe had, right? Your principal songwriter is a guy who has no business even playing fucking music. Nikki Sixx,
yeah,
garbage and everything. I even like I watched his VH1 like behind the video thing that they did, and they interviewed an early member of London, Nikki Sixx's band before Mötley Crüe. One of the guys in London had said that when he was auditioning for Mötley Crüe or London, they told him like, "Hey, we need a bass player. Like, you need to fucking have a bass, and then we'll just teach you how to play notes, and you can just stand there and do whatever." So Nikki Sixx went to like a pawn shop or a music store and on Sunset, and then walked into the store with an empty guitar case in his hand and said, "Hey,
I
like,
heard about this.
I'm here to like apply for a job. Like, do you have an application?" And as the guy like went to the back to grab an application, Nikki Sixx grabbed a guitar, stuck it in his guitar case, and didn't leave. Didn't fucking flee the scene. Stood there, grabbed the application, said thank you, and then walked away. And brought it back to his bandmates and said, "Hey, I got a bass." He didn't know what the fuck a bass was. He grabbed a guitar. He grabbed a Les Paul guitar. And the guy's like, "All right, bro, I'm just going to help you." So Nikki Sixx, he has no business picking up any kind of instrument whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you can hear it in the way he plays bass.
He's
But he
not
writes all
great.
the music. But he writes
Yeah.
all the music. He writes all the lyrics. He writes all the fucking like melodies. He writes everything. So
He
like
came up with the
that-
image of the band. I mean,
that dynamic is bizarre, right? That to me is just fucking mind blowing. And then the fact that like Mick Mars, who is like an accomplished, respected musician in the LA area, is now like leaving the blues rock scene of the late 70s, right? Which is still like kind of at its height and still driving forward, to leave that and then go join these fucking idiots. Join these guys that are 10 years younger than you, that are just, they literally saying, "Hey, we want you to be our guitar player because all we want to do is fuck girls and drink." Okay.
I mean,
Like that's,
it is weird. It is
that
weird
shows
how
wisdom,
he joined
right?
the band.
He has to
does,
like
yeah.
see something in them. He has to.
I think what, to me, I think he saw the ambition of Nikki Sixx, because Nikki Sixx really is the ambitious one. He's the one who created the image.
He tries
the one
really, really hard too.
He does try, and it to a fault.
Gotta respect
you know.
that.
But yeah, he's. I mean, I guess going back to the beginning of this episode, every member is just as important as the other, and this Mötley Crüe is also one of those bands where I've talked about in the past, like the bands that are really successful are the ones where every member is their own character. Like you could take them out and you have this like this world that you build around each member of the band. Like Kiss, you know, all four of those, the original guys, they're all so unique in their own way because of their costumes and their own story. And that's how Mötley Crüe is too. Everybody, they're all kind of assholes except for Mick Mars. He seems like the only decent one in the group, but they're all fucking terrible people. But you build this whole
so
like
bad
character and persona around all of them, especially back then. And I don't know, man.
That's what's so wild too, is because like to me, the least like important person of the band is Tommy Lee. Like he's the least important member of this band to me. But then like you hear stories of Tommy Lee in the early days, right? During the Shout at the Devil tour, when they're on the Monsters of Mayhem or what the fuck it was, with Van Halen and AC/DC. And what the band used to like to do is that they liked you or it was just like their little thing they did between each other. They bit each other. They would bite each other.
Oh yeah.
They would just like take chunks out of each other's fucking skin and they bleed and they bite each other.
They bit Eddie Van Halen.
So Vince Neil bites Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And then Tommy Lee bites fucking Malcolm Young from AC/DC. And this is at a dinner party right before the big show the next day. And Tommy Lee bites Malcolm Young, who fucking freaks out. Eddie Van Halen's super irritated, super pissed. But like Malcolm Young freaks out. David Lee Roth gets involved. And then Tommy Lee throws down with David Lee Roth. This is fucking 1983, insane. Right? 1984. This is like kind of at the height of Van Halen because 1984 was a massive hit for Van Halen.
Yeah.
And so like Tommy Lee's biting fucking Malcolm Young and then fist fighting David Lee Roth. And in Tommy Lee's mind, this is amazing because these are his idols and he's actually like scrapping with people that he respects. But to them, they're fucking pissed. And this whole thing like erupted to like where their manager Doc, whatever the fuck his name was, Doc McGee. He was contacted by the promoters of the show, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna drop Mötley Crüe." And Doc was like, "No, you're not," because this was in Germany too. Monsters of Rock, that's what it was called. Monsters of Rock.
It was. Yeah, that's right.
And the promoters of the show were like, "Yeah, we're gonna drop Van Halen, or we're gonna drop Mötley Crüe." And Doc's like, "No, you're not. Get the fuck out of here. They're so popular right now. They're so hot right now. There's no fucking way you're gonna drop them. Good luck." And so they didn't. But they were like, "Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do, though."
Oh, dude, I love this part.
Here's what we're gonna do, though. When Mötley Crüe shows up to the venue, they're going straight to their RV, to their van. We're gonna hire a crane operator to pick up their van and hoist them, 20, 30 feet above the ground. That way they can't escape. And when it's time for them to go on, we'll put them down. They can go on. And then when they're done, get the fuck out of here.
Like they're fucking animals, dude.
Like they're animals.
They're fucking animals.
And so then, like, the whole time Doc is like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, sure. And so then he had to, like, shield Mötley Crüe from that fact, which it didn't work out anyway because Mötley Crüe stayed out all fucking night partying before this big show anyway. Dude, wild. And like the whole time too with the whole like hotel. You read about the hotel thing, how they had to like pay, they had to prepay for their hotel stays. Like anytime they went to a
like
hotel,
$15,000 or something like that.
Cash. They had to put down a deposit, $15,000 cash because they broke shit. They didn't care.
Destroy everything.
They destroyed everything. And so then Doc, their guy too, who was played by not Pete Davidson in the movie, but somebody else.
No, Doc was the Electra guy. No, Doc was their manager, but Pete Davidson's character was the guy from Electra.
Yeah. They actually had two managers, and one was not in the movie, but Doc was the one. But the hotel thing was funny because one thing that I read in the YouTube comments like perfectly summed up fucking Mötley Crüe in one little comment too, as YouTube never disappoints. But Doc had said, "Hey, yo, you guys are breaking too much shit. It's all good. We're making a lot of fucking money. Just let me know what you break. Give me an itemized like copy in the morning of what you break." And so like one infamous thing, Nikki Sixx had called Doc in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, so put me down for, a TV, a dresser, a lamp, and fucking whatever the fuck this is." And it's like, damn, dude, that is Mötley Crüe right there. Like, I don't give a fuck what I'm breaking because I just want to break some shit.
I know, it's fucking wild, man.
God, I love that so much. Dude, that's the most rock star thing like anybody has ever said. Put me down for a lamp, a TV, and whatever the fuck this is. So
I just
good.
don't, dude. I can't imagine. I mean, we partied pretty good in our early 20s and mid 20s and stuff, and we did some stupid shit, but never close to what you're reading about Mötley Crüe. Not even close. And we did some stupid shit.
Dude, we've done some stupid shit, but we have never done half of the things that Mötley Crüe did in like one fucking night.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, hey, I love you, David Lee Roth, one of the biggest rock stars on the planet. Let me just throw down. Let's just start fighting.
Now, one thing I thought was so cool because I read about it, and okay, so we also watched The Dirt, the biopic this week that Jeff Tremaine from Jackass made back in,
which is so bizarre too, right? Like how does nobody talk about that?
I know, right? But yeah, so we watched, and it's a fun movie. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be like more serious, darker for sure, but it's definitely lighthearted, breaking the fourth wall a lot. It's fun. It's just a fun movie, and so one of the stories in the movie at the beginning of the movie, and also in real life, which I thought was so cool, when they played their first show at that whatever bar it was, they're getting like heckled and booed like after the first song, and then some guy came up to Vince Neil, spit on his pants, and Vince Neil immediately jumped at the guy and started fighting the guy. Nikki Sixx took his bass and fucking hit the guy with his bass, and then Tommy came around from the drum kit and jumped in, and it was a fucking brawl. It was a riot at this bar, and they beat the shit out of these guys. Yeah. The guys in the band beat the shit out of them, went back up on stage, played the song, and the word got around what happened, so they played the following night at the same bar, and they like sold the place out. This is like their second show. This happened, and I just thought it was just like, dude, these guys had each other's back. Like as something like that, normally like the singer would like, stomp off in a rage or whatever it may be, and the rest of the band wouldn't have his back. But no, all of them except for Mick Mars, because I think he's Mick Mars. But yeah, the other three guys completely jumped into action and just beat the shit out of everybody because it was so disrespectful. Love that.
That place was called the Starwood at the time. It's gone through many names, but it's called the Starwood. And like as I was watching it again this week, I was like, I don't know, man. Let me pause. I have my nice little MacBook in front of me. Let me just fact check that shit. That happened. That straight fucking happened. Like you can multiple accounts have said that. Yeah, dude. Maybe not as aggressive as it was in the movie, but yes, Like somebody was pissing off Vince Neil and he fucking jumped in the crowd. Music stopped. Everybody followed. Fucked somebody up. Went back on stage. Finished the set. And that's also Mötley Crüe. Like that's the name Mötley Crüe. It's a ragtag team of nobodies who come together like a gang and have each other's backs no matter what. And that was Mötley Crüe.
Yeah.
What an amazing fucking story.
It is a really, really cool story.
Gotta respect that.
Anyway, let's get into another song and then we'll talk more about the lore. So,
okay.
I mean, you got let's just do bangers. Let's go with bangers right now.
1B, you ready?
Yeah, what do you got?
Dude, girls goes girls. Come on. The fuck out of here. Like you're lying to yourself if girls goes girls not as your one banger. Like, that's just silly
I know,
boy
I
talk.
agree. It's
That's
my 1B.
silly
Yeah.
boy talk.
Hands down. It's the 1B.
You get that motorcycle rev in the intro? Like, come on. Like, how pretentious, how fucking full of yourself, how cocky can you possibly be? The fuck out of here.
Oh my God. And then, yeah, to the motorcycle revving. And then, Mick comes in with he's hitting those big power chords, just letting them ring out. And then the big heavy drums come in. And then the riff, man, that's a fucking killer riff right there.
Dude, Mick Mars'
Super
riff
fucking good.
under the girls, girls, girls part is actually pretty damn good. It's actually pretty fucking solid. Like, I never noticed until this week that he's not just hitting like power chords and letting them ring out. He's riffing underneath that chorus part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, it is really cool. It's just, I watched some live videos and they were cool, but, on record, there are two guitars on every track, at least two guitars. Yeah. There's always a rhythm and then Mick laying down a lead on top of it, which is cool too. What? Oh yeah, except for the first
record. Raw.
But no, it's just he adds so many cool little guitar leads and shit through all the fucking songs, and they're so underrated. It's fucking great. But yeah, I love Girls Girls Girls, and the chorus. Who doesn't love to sing that song? Who doesn't love to sing it?
This is like, if I had to put together like 10 songs that I hate that I like so much, this would be in top 10. Like this has to be, right? This is such a dumb fucking song. By any other band, this is a song that we would hate, that we would make fun of. But like, I hate that I love the song so much. I really do.
And when Annie, friend of the pod, Annie, her and I used to go to a lot of shows in Hollywood, at the Whiskey and all that kind of shit. And every time we get off the 101 freeway onto Sunset, and we take Sunset all the way down to whatever venue we're going to. And without fail, every time we were driving down Sunset, we would put Girls, Girls, Girls on. Without hesitation.
How would you not?
You have to do it. When you're driving down Sunset, you got to put this song on. It's so fucking dumb, but it's so much fun with all the windows down and playing it like at full blast. It's so fucking stupid.
Almost half those strip clubs are on Sunset.
I know. And you drive, and like it's the same signage. Like if you watch the video for this song and you drive down Sunset at night, the same fluorescent lights, all the same strip clubs are there. They're still fucking there.
I actually, I wrote down and I took a deep dive into all 7 of the strip clubs mentioned in the song.
Oh my God. You did? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Some of them aren't even here in California.
You let me know when you want me to go into them, and I'll go into them. Because I'm going to do it.
Well, I guess, yeah, let's get into it right now. You already brought it up.
Dollhouse, Fort Lauderdale. Didn't actually exist in this capacity because apparently there's a dollhouse, but it was just outside the Fort Lauderdale city limits, but it wasn't called the dollhouse. But people called that spot Fort Lauderdale because it was so close to the actual city of Fort Lauderdale. So locals just called it that. So that's what people think the dollhouse was. That's the one that has the most mystique around it. So moving on. Tattletale in Atlanta, still open. $10 cover.
Nice.
That's it.
Oh,
Seventh
man.
Veil, Sunset, still open. This is one of the music videos actually filmed at. Steel Panther also glamorized the spot in one of their songs. But this one's been open since the 40s.
No shit. Wow.
Fucking almost 100 years this one's been open.
Can you imagine going to a strip club in the 40s?
What are you
looking at?
Fucking pre-war, you know what I mean? Like, it's pre-World War II. Like, the fuck is going on here? And the Crazy Horse Paris, still open. That one's talked about in here, still open. And this one's supposed to be like a really fancy ritzy spot too. It's an old wine. It's in old wine cellars in Paris that are hundreds of years old, and it's supposedly frequented by a lot of A-list movie stars and pop icons like Lana Del Rey, Robin Thicke, a lot of really, really popular artists go to the Crazy Horse strip club in Paris and kind of hang out and drink.
Weird.
That's fucking cool, dude.
That is cool. Yeah, that is cool.
Like, what's cooler than going to like an iconic like strip club is going to one that is frequented by the elite of society. Next one, Body Shop, Sunset, still open. This is the one that has the words "girls, girls, girls" on its marquee. Fucking genius, right? That's the best.
Seriously.
That's the best marketing you could possibly have, especially after this song came out. Marble Arch. This is the one that's Vancouver. This one's closed. This one was apparently bought by Mormons in like the late 80s, early 90s, and they wanted to turn it into kind of like a cleaner karaoke bar. And they did.
Okay.
And they even invited Mötley Crüe to come out and check it out.
There's a bad idea.
They didn't go.
I mean, that's just a bad idea. Like, had Mötley Crüe showed up, can you imagine what would have happened? Come on.
Yeah, it's stupid. And
Terrible
the
idea.
last one's Tropicana. Tropicana was in Hollywood. This one's closed. And this was crazy popular with like mud wrestling. They even hosted like intergender mud wrestling competitions, and Hollywood elite would show up and wrestle sometimes. The most famous one was Andy Kaufman apparently wrestled like a fan favorite female wrestler at this one. This is the one that Vince also met his wife, one of his wives there. She was a mud wrestler.
Like third wife, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, these are all the strip clubs that are actually, they're mentioned in the song, and they're actual strip clubs.
That's so
some
fucking
still
funny.
standing.
That's so fucking funny. You know what's crazy? We never went to the one in LA. Why didn't we ever go to that?
Because we fucking hate LA.
I know. Well, I know we did,
the
but
only
it's
thing
like
good to do in LA is get the fuck out of there.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I get. We only went to go to those see certain shows. We never really went bar hopping in LA or Hollywood.
And we're like straight middle class, dude. They just, our money means more to us than just like throwing it away.
Is that, yeah.
Like, damn, even went to bars, we were so cheap. Like, we have expensive taste, but when we go to bars, what do we order? Like in Bud Lights, Coors Lights.
Well, I think
what's on happy hour?
The last episode, the Black Eyed Peas episode, I think I mentioned like we had it down where Tuesday nights, dollar beer nights at Canyon Inn, Wednesday nights, dollar beer night at Rembrandt's, and then Thursdays were like $3 24-ounce Newcastles at Biggs. So it's like we had our weeks down, man.
Money out here.
I remember we would drink, dude. We would spend less than $20 and be completely wasted.
Like, we're not like poor, but we're not like flush with money here. Like, we just, and frugal, careful with our money, careful.
Yeah. I wonder if dollar beer nights still exist, considering how expensive everything is now. There's no way, right?
It would have to be like a dollar beer night, but like once a month.
Yeah. You know, Rembrandt's closed in Placentia?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, apparently they gave out a bunch of like gift cards in December, and then in January they closed, so people couldn't redeem the gift cards. Yeah,
fucked up.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was reading on Nextdoor. Yeah, but they got okay. So because I was going to a lot of the Placentia Chamber of Commerce events, and they would always hold events at Rembrandt's, and they were saying it got bought out by somebody like in 2015, and then they revamped it and changed the name of it, and then it was like really unsuccessful, so they changed everything back to how it was before, and then it became popular again until obviously after COVID, and then they just shut down in January.
People are just fucking dumb. Yeah, people just don't want to admit that like Rembrandt's existed because they served cheap alcohol. Yeah. And it was just a way to like hook up. That's it. For cheap, for like $10, you could hook up with somebody for $10. That's it.
Yeah, it was.
That's why they existed.
On those dollar beer nights, yeah, absolutely. I guess like back in the 80s, the place that was like the place to go to like go dancing and shit, and like actually like get dinner. Like you would go there and eat dinner, and then you would go dancing. Like I remember years ago when my grandma was still alive, I was talking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I was talking to my grandma before she died, and I was saying, oh yeah, we go to, dollar beer nights at Rembrandt's. She's like, oh my God, I used to go there in the early 80s, and we'd go out and get dinner, and then we'd dance all night until they closed, and we'd be really drunk. And it was just like in the early fucking 80s, my grandma was doing that shit.
Damn.
It's wild. My grandma was wild.
That is wild.
But yeah, she used to go there all the fucking time.
That's dope.
Cool spot.
I mean, it was a fine spot. It served a purpose.
Yes, that's correct. A lot of memories there.
We weren't going there for the food. We were going there for the.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in that.
Dumb song.
Great fucking song. Get the fuck out of here. It's a great song. And this is also a song where you really hear Nicki's bass come through in the mix. It's thick. It's beefy as fuck. There are parts where, Mick is he's not playing, or he's doing some little lead thing that's not over a rhythm section. So you really kind of hear Nicki's playing on this. Not that it's anything extraordinary, but you can hear him you could definitely hear it in the mix, which is cool.
It's very cool. Because he's still not a good bass player. He's turning his bass up and just existing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really what it is. It's just existing.
That's true too. And another thing I wanted to talk about this song is that bridge. Dude, that bridge is so fucking stupid. It's so funny. And it's so has not aged well. It's Vince and Tommy talking to each other, and they start catcalling girls and everything. Yeah. And in the video, they're sitting on their motorcycles. And there's like these like hot girls walking by behind him, and they start calling him, and it's just like 2024, man, that shit would not fly.
I mean,
but back then, it was like Sunset was like the Wild West in the fucking 80s.
This album and this band is like the Wild West of what do you call that when you like look down on females? What is that thing called?
I don't know.
Damn.
Not misogyny.
Yeah, misogyny.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I think so. Yeah. Like this is the poster child for misogyny because.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the beginning of it, and it's not the worst of it, but this is the beginning of it. But yeah.
I don't know, man. That bridge, it's fucking stupid. And then I like the way that it's not that I like the way, the way that Vince Neil describes the girls, like in the chorus, he says long legs and burgundy lips, dancing down on the Sunset Strip, red lips, fingertips. Just the stupidest way to describe somebody, and just so it's so demeaning, man.
It is. But like it's a generational thing, and I like it. I like the way he says it because he says it with full conviction.
Yeah.
It's not masked, it's not hidden behind instrumentals. He's not like beating around the bush. He's a douchebag, and he's telling you he's a douchebag, and it's a fun listen. It's a fun listen. It's a trip down memory lane, but we weren't alive back then. But it, like you said earlier, like it places you at a certain period of time, and we were just fucking born in this one. But I swear to God, man, when I listened to Mötley Crüe this week, I felt like I was going down Sunset, and we've been down Sunset numerous times. So
hundreds of times, probably.
Like, maybe like that's why there's a little bit of nostalgia attached to this, even though like we don't like hair metal, we never really like was in this kind of crowd or anything like that. But we've been to these bars, dude. We've been down Sunset, like you said, hundreds of times, and so there is a bit of nostalgia with it, and it's fun to kind of like put ourselves in a time that we did not even exist, and think like, wow, that's what it was like. Because no matter what, there's a lot of fun to be had there.
Oh yeah,
like, LA used to be cool.
It did. I talked about it a few months ago when I saw Wednesday 13 at the Whiskey, which is on Sunset, and the show ended at like midnight, 11:30 midnight, and back when we were going out to LA a lot more, or Hollywood, the streets were packed. People were always around. People were partying. The bars were going crazy down there. But when I left the Whiskey that night, it was a Friday night. Yeah, it was a Friday night. And when I left the Whiskey, dude, that Sunset was dead. And it was like the week before Halloween. And so it was fucking dead. And then when I hopped in my car to go home, I went down a couple blocks and I was on Santa Monica Boulevard in WeHo, West Hollywood. And dude, I think I told you, dude, West Hollywood, it's always crowded, but I've never seen it this fucking packed. There were people just dozens of people walking across the street randomly. Like the streets, the sidewalks were fucking packed full of people. It's like everything went from Sunset down to Santa Monica Boulevard. And then you drive, and then just like for maybe 4 or 5 blocks, if not longer, down Santa Monica to get to the 101. There were so many goddamn people. So many people. It's like everything went down to that street rather than Sunset. But Sunset was fucking dead. Totally fucking dead.
Oh.
It was weird. It was so weird because it used to be so
vibrant.
Yeah. But now it's just, yeah. But then once you're going down Santa Monica and as you get closer to the freeway and like there aren't really any bars or clubs, dude, it's fucking tent city. Tent fucking city until you get to the 101. But anyway, hyper local. I know if you've never been here.
Yeah, but like everybody fucking knows Sunset.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's true.
Yeah, everybody.
But honestly,
knows.
I think the whiskey's cool, but you go a little bit wait, is the Roxy on Sunset?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. But like that area where the Roxy and the Rambo Room is, I like that area a lot. There's like always like celebrities and rock stars and shit over there. Like when we saw David Spade almost at the top. That was just like, what the fuck? It was fucking crazy. But anyway, 0-2.
0-2. What are you gonna do? Yeah. So Girls is Girls. That's the biggest B, the BB.
Oh wait, one more thing about this song, the lyrics. The second verse, this is what he says. The 4 lines: trick or treat, sweet to eat on Halloween and New Year's Eve. Yankee girls, you just can't be beat, but they're the best when they're off their feet.
God.
Fucking, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Just does not care.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. All right, so then are we good with this song?
The girls?
Yeah.
Girls? Yeah.
Girls. Oh boy.
Such a dumb name for a song too. Like it's just, damn, it's so stupid.
Actually, going back to one last thing. Going to the music video. Dude, they're just all it is they're riding up and down Sunset on their Harleys, all 4 of them. And then it's either that or they're in one of the strip clubs, which you mentioned which one it was. And them just, looking at the girls and partying.
Just still there in Sunset.
Yeah, so it's
that was their favorite strip club.
It's so fucking typical.
And let's not forget that everybody else out there is listening. A strip club to like a normal person is one thing, but a strip club to like a rock star with seemingly unlimited money is another thing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What happens behind those doors are 2 vastly fucking different things.
Absolutely.
And much like a bartender, you see like a high roller come in, you're giving him good service.
Yeah. Oh
when
yeah.
When Mötley Crüe fucking rolls into a strip club, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no idea what happens because I'm not Mötley Crüe. I don't fucking know. I can only imagine.
Or I was reading a story today that this is like way after the prime. This is like in 2000 or 2001. I think it was in Paris. Some guy was saying that he went to a strip club and the guys were there they're at their own booth, and apparently, I mean, he went up to them and talked to them and they were whatever. But then I guess this strip club is open 24 hours, but at like 3 a.m, they closed the strip club down and they kicked everybody out. And it was because the guys from Mötley Crüe essentially rented out all of the girls and the strip club for their own private party. And this is 2000, way after their prime. For what that's worth. I don't know how true it is, but that was what I was reading. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Wild. I mean, you gotta respect guys that throw money at things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going, like, strip clubs exist. They're always going to exist. They've existed for a long time. Yeah. You gotta respect guys that go in there, open the door, and say, "All right, like, who wants to make X amount of dollars tonight for whatever the fuck I want you to do?" Whether or not you find that dehumanizing or if you just find that liberating, I don't know, but at least they're consistent about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Okay, so that's all we have for this song. Before we jump into a 2B, let's talk about the shittier thing, just to kind of, not to say get it out of the way, but just I think we should talk about it.
I feel like we've already been talking about it.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Like, we've already been talking about, like, these guys just they womanize. What do we call it? Misogyny. There it is. Yeah. I don't know why I can't think of that fucking word.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you.
These guys like treat women like shit. They treat them like fucking possessions and
yeah.
their lyrics reflect that, and half of these guys had kids before they graduated high school.
Yeah. Vince Neil's first kid was in 1978.
That's wild. He was like 16. He was like 15.
I know.
And then fucking Mick Mars.
Mick.
Yeah, Mick
he
Mars.
has like
he had a kid that he didn't pay
6
child
kids.
support for. And he had like changed his fucking ID all the time and like changed his name. So whenever he got pulled over by the cops, because God forbid you don't drink and drive constantly, whenever he got pulled over by the cops and they ran his name, like, oh yeah, you fucking owe like back child support, bro. Like you're going to jail. Like, dude, these are pieces of shit for so long.
I read too with Mick Mars. I guess there have been 3 points in his career where he was completely broke and like living on the streets. And one was right before Mötley Crüe. One was like in the early 90s, mid 90s. And then the other was like 10 years after that. So like mid 2000s or something like that. Like he lost everything because of various ex-wives, child support, and everything else. I mean, when I say Mick Mars is the best of the band, like he's the foundation of the band, that doesn't make him good or great as a human being. He was still a piece of shit.
No, just
like I have all of them.
Musically talented.
Yeah, but in comparison with the other 3 guys, he was easily the best. You know, I don't know.
Which is like
they're all shitty.
when you look at like Mick Mars' report card and you say like, yeah, he was kind of the best dude of the band. You think like, wow, what did the other guys actually do? And then you read their report card and you realize, holy shit, like Tommy Lee beat up Pamela Anderson. Fucking
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Went to jail for it.
Nikki Sixx was terrible and fucking died on it. He
Twice.
OD'd and died. Yeah, on heroin. And then Vince Neil killed the guy. He fucking he killed the guy.
Killed
like,
a friend of his.
Where was Mad? Right? Like Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah.
Like where was Mad at this point? He did like 15 days in jail.
I think that was the reason why that was formed, was after that incident. The Mothers Against Drunk Driving, I think it was formed a couple years after that. And that was one of the incidences that they would always reference, was the Vince Neil one.
So yeah, well, that makes sense. Because I mean, honestly, my history with Mad stems from 2 things. One thing was just because of, what's that show called with Al Bundy?
Married with Children.
Married with Children, yeah. And his No Ma'am thing. But like Mad, I thought was like 1980, but that makes sense though, because like 1980 was still in the early stages of Mötley Crüe. So that makes sense. But yeah, dude, he killed the fucking guy.
I know.
And got like
he was
15 days in jail.
He was sentenced to 30, got out after 15 days for good behavior. But then, dude, when you look at his rap sheet, this is just like the bigger things. All the DUIs. There's one. Okay, there's one I wrote down. Hold on. That I was just like, it was just unbelievable. In 2007, he was arrested for suspicion of DUI in Las Vegas after he was spotted making erratic movements in his Ferrari. He then later worked out a deal with prosecutors where he pled guilty for reckless driving in exchange for them to drop the DUI charge. Nobody else no common person getting a DUI would be able to get out of a DUI like that. Like,
especially
what the fuck?
After having killed somebody.
Yes, exactly.
On a previous DUI.
Not only that, but 2007, that was like, I think his like 3rd or 4th DUI on top of the manslaughter in 1983 or 82, whenever that was. It's just unreal what he's gotten away with on top of all the assault charges. Not just assault like on his girlfriends, but strangers, women, other women, men. Dude, the guy is violent. He's an absolute piece of shit. And it's astonishing that he hasn't gotten more jail time. Like, what is it? What is it with Vince Neil to where he doesn't face the consequences? I don't get it.
We know what it is, right? It's fucking money. Money, money, like the disparity between people that are convicted and not convicted or plea is because of money. If you have a good lawyer, you will not go to jail. Or if you go to jail, you would do 1/100th of the time that you would do had you not had a lawyer. And public defenders overworked, and they're garbage out here. They don't fucking care because they're overworked. They have 25,000 cases they got to do per year. They don't give a shit about one little case. It's because of money. Vince Neil had money, and therefore he is not going to jail. And that is tragic. Like, you kill somebody. Like, I don't know, man. You probably should be going to jail for more than 15 days, dude. Like, you just ended a life because of a bad decision.
I know. It's
15 days
crazy.
is wild.
Like I get like the emotional trauma he probably had after that, but to continue making the same decisions, the same bad decisions, dude, at what point do you learn? Like none of these guys, I mean, I would say Nikki Sixx probably learned the most. But Tommy and Vince Neil, no. and I'm just saying that, like, that's not saying much, but compared to Tommy and Vince, especially Vince, he's definitely matured the most out of the three. It's crazy shit, man. What these guys, I mean, and another thing too is like, I think one of the guys said that like none of them should be alive, which I agree. Like the amount of booze, drugs, violence, all the shit that they've done, not one of them should still be alive at this point.
Correct.
How the fuck does Nikki Sixx survive? Unless like a lot of these stories are fabricated, which, you know, it's possible. It's possible. But I mean, Nikki Sixx fucking died. He fucking died and was dead for 2 minutes and then resuscitated. And then no brain damage.
That was a scene in the movie where I paused it and nah. Because in the movie, they're in the back of an ambulance, right? He said, no, this is Nikki fucking Sixx from Mötley Crüe. He's not dying in my ambulance. Like, oh my God, here we go. This fucking guy's trying to be a hero. Okay, I get it. Sticks him with the EpiPen or whatever the fuck it was. And sticks him with another one for 2 total. I'm like, no, dude, the fuck out of here. And like, you Google it, yeah. Like multiple accounts, multiple fucking websites, multiple people have said that, yeah, that's what happened. But you don't know for sure because nobody was there except for the guy that stuck him and Nikki Sixx. And how the fuck would Nikki Sixx know what happened if he was dead?
Yeah. And I've seen like interviews he's done over the years and he talks about that. He talks about like the out of body experience and all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
and then when he died, he was released from the hospital like 2 days later, whenever it was. Within half hour, he shot up again.
Yeah,
more heroin.
shot up again. Fuck it. Who cares?
Fucking idiot, dude. Fucking idiot. And this is like, I think he said like at this point that was like his 6th overdose. The one that finally killed him was his 6th overdose. And then the one prior to, I believe it was the one prior to Theater of Pain, I think it was, he overdosed when he was, I think in France or something. And he was shooting up with his dealer, and the dealer freaked out and just threw his body away in the dumpster.
Yeah, the fucking dumpster, dude.
Like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
All right, so like one more super, super depressing thing, and then we can get back into the fun stuff. But like it is sad when you see these rock stars, and you, like, to us, we think like, oh, it's such a cool lifestyle.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
And then you really get into it, like, wow, dude, that's fucking tragic. That is sad that like nobody in your life cares about you. And like Vince Neil, like dude, like that hit me hard because Vince Neil.
Oh, with the daughter?
Yeah, his daughter got taken away, and his ex-wife, girlfriend was like, nah, dude, your daughter needs to be away from me because you are a monster. And Vince Neil was like, no, I want to be part of your life, but didn't really give a fuck about it. And then she died at like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, dude. Cancer.
Like,
stomach cancer or something?
Stomach cancer. Like, what the fuck? Who gets stomach cancer to a fucking 5-year-old? That's nasty stuff. Get the fuck out of here. So like that is terrible. That is super, super tragic and super nasty and super gross. So like these guys are human, but they're not really like us. They're not. They're not like us. Yeah, because they don't know what it's like to work for a living and struggle and do all these things. So like I kind of connected with Vince Neil a little bit, but it's like, dude, man, you do the same shit over and over and over.
I think it's just because it's so tragic. His daughter dying so young. It's just so tragic. Like
after he killed the guy from
but
Annoyed
because,
Rocks too, right?
But because it was it was a child and such a young child, you can't help but feel bad. Because I mean, child dying is just, oh my God, it's
silly boy talk. It's straight silly boy talk.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I don't even have a kid, but
straight
I mean, I was just
boy talk.
And you know, as stupid as the movie was and how kind of goofy it was, that scene when he was in the hospital with his daughter, and she was like, I don't want them to cut me again. I'm like,
yeah, that's what she said. Dude. That's what she said.
Oh my God, that line, like, I like wanted to tear up. I was like really sad.
You did not tear up on that part.
I kind of did, man.
You're a monster.
Oh my God, it was so sad. That line was so fucking sad.
I had to go like make a pizza because it was just too intense. I was like, nah, dude, I can't. No, nope. We're done. We're done.
But then I also noticed in that scene the makeup for Vince Neil's fake beard was so bad.
Oh,
like I couldn't stop
It's
staring
like somebody
at
took a
his face.
Sharpie and dotted it, huh? Didn't
It
it?
was so bad, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible. It was so bad.
Dude, that actor is garbage too for Vince Neil.
None of them were very good.
Garbage. Dude,
Actually,
you know those Machine Gun Kelly playing Tommy Lee?
Yeah, I knew that. He was the only one I liked. He was the only one I liked.
I didn't know that until this fucking week, and I've seen this like 3 times.
Yeah, he was the only one I felt like that fit the character the best. Mick Mars,
I
that
also
guy was
agreed
just
with
too
that.
much.
I also agree with that. But then when I read that it was Machine Gun Kelly, it pained me because like, I really did like that character, but now I really hate that character. But I still like that character. But
He
yeah,
did a
Mick
great
Mars
job.
was silly boy. That was just like, come on, dude.
It was too much. It was too over the top.
Yeah.
And then Nikki Sixx, I just didn't care. I just don't think that was a good casting choice.
Yeah, no, I don't care regardless.
Then the Heather Locklear, like who they got to play Heather Locklear, come on, guys. Like,
And with zero mention of fucking Pamela Anderson in the entire movie.
I know,
The fuck out of here.
right? Yeah, because I mean, they even brought up like John Corabi. Like they went up until like 2004, I think it was, or 2005. That's how far the movie went up to. But yeah, no mention of Pamela Anderson.
Besides Mötley Crüe, the biggest thing that Tommy Lee's ever done is Pamela Anderson.
Oh yeah, the sex tape.
Like
hands
that's
down.
massive.
Have you ever watched that?
No.
It's pretty.
I mean, that was like back in the day where too, like it wasn't easy to just like watch a sex tape.
Yeah, it's true. You had to. Well, so it's kind of weird, but like years later, when I was an adult, my dad told me, "Oh yeah, I rented that movie back in the '90s. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. It was
How
so
do you
funny."
rent the movie?
Because he said you were able, you could go if you knew like where a porn store was, you could actually rent it, and he rented it. Yeah.
Damn, what a fucking racket! Like,
yeah.
You just,
well,
like,
there was a whole TV show made about it. Remember with Seth Rogen?
yeah.
Well, it was a terrible show. It was fucking terrible.
But like, what a
I got,
racket!
like,
You can just
3
download
episodes
somebody
in.
else's property and it's not licensed whatsoever, and then rent it out to people for dollars or whatever it is. That's 100% profit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing happened with the Paris Hilton thing in, what was that, 2002, 2003?
Yeah.
Same exact thing happened with Paris Hilton. And then it happened again with Kim Kardashian, but she and her mom were really
Ray J?
smart about it. Yeah, they were super smart about it and thought, okay, it's already out there. Let's maximize, let's get in front of this and let's make money off of it. It's already out there, and that's exactly what Kim and her mom did. They profited off. They were able to profit off of that because they got ahead of it. Unlike Paris and Tommy Lee, they decided to take legal action instead of going with it. Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Was that before or after Tommy beat up Pamela Anderson and went to jail for it?
It was after, because remember, even Eminem wrote it. It was in
Pam and
not
Tommy.
the Real Slim Shady.
Yeah.
What was it? What song was that?
It was the Real Slim Shady.
Was the Real Slim Shady? Okay, yeah.
Burst
That
in
was
the
like
door,
98.
Throwing over furniture like Pam and Tommy just
Came bursting in the door or something like that.
That was
And then in the video, there's like people who look like Pam and Tommy, and she's
He's
like
chasing her.
running
She's
away.
like,
Yeah, he's chasing her.
yeah.
Yeah, that was 98, I think, or maybe 99. That video came out.
She wasn't pop culture fun back then.
It was something.
The wild
that's for
lives of fucking movie stars and rock stars, and just don't give a shit about them, but find it funny.
Yeah. Man, it's so dumb.
Vince Neil. But I did watch. What was in the Surreal Life, or he was in? Yeah, it was Surreal Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
did
was.
watch that the first year.
I did too.
The first season it came out, and I watched a lot of the VH1 stuffs. And Vince Neil, man, like in Mötley Crüe's early days, good looking dude. Like Mötley Crüe or Vince Neil, like in Surreal Life, and now ugly man. Just his face looks like something you would not even. His face looks like something you would make in like a video game. When you're trying to like make yourself, you do this. Like he's ugly, dude. He's an ugly fucking guy.
Yeah. The other two, Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx, they've aged really well.
Yeah, Tommy Lee's great. He looks fantastic.
Yeah. I was talking to Tammy about it today that we were doing Mötley Crüe, and she's like, "Oh my God, Tommy Lee's so fucking hot."
Yeah.
Like, what? Like even now you still think
he's a
she's
good looking
like, "Oh my
guy?
God, fuck
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. I'm like, okay. I mean, he is a good looking guy. but it's just, I don't know.
I mean, like,
It's crazy.
honestly, to be fair, like, it's just mad kudos. The fact that you have not, first of all, that you're not dead. And
Yeah.
second of all, that you still look like presentable.
Yeah, I know, right?
But like Ozzy still looks good for
For
like, what he's done.
For what he's done, yeah. Absolutely.
Still, he looks really good for what he's fucking done.
Have you seen Tommy Lee's wife? His current wife? She's beautiful. She's like beautiful. It's just, dude, you're like 60 years old and you're pulling that. I mean, he's good looking, yeah, but dude, you're 60 and you're still pulling that shit. Like,
Dude,
wow,
how does fucking Joe Biden look like a skeleton, but Tommy Lee looks like a rock star still? Like, how is that possible?
I mean, yeah, there's like a 14-year age gap there,
Good
15-year age
Lord.
gap, but even still, yeah, I get what you mean.
Well, like visually, there's like a 35-year age gap there.
Yeah, that's true too. Oh man, it's so stupid.
Wild.
I guess the best way to look at it, Joe Biden when he was vice president, when Obama got elected in 2008, he did not look anything like Tommy Lee does right now, because that's like about the age gap right there.
Dude, you can look at Joe Biden from like 1990 and still looks like an old fucking man.
He looks old as fuck, yeah. Going bald and
he had that comb over for fucking like far too, like
since
25,
like the 70s.
30 years. Yeah.
Oh, since like the 70s he had that comb over.
He's always looked like shit.
Yeah. Talk about a good speaker. Like back in the day, Joe Biden was a good speaker. Terrible politics. Still terrible politics.
Yeah, he said 50 years to perfect his craft.
Dude, fucking great. You watch him speak back in the late 70s and 80s, man. The guy fucking... Dude, he was a great speaker. But now he can't even form a fucking sentence. Wild shit, man. And okay, so one thing, since we're talking about appearances and these band members, Mick Mars, he had, we haven't even brought this up, but that debilitating disease that he has, it's called... I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but it's ankylosing spondylitis. I don't know. But what it is your spine is essentially fusing together, and you start hunching over more and more and more. And he had been suffering from this since his 20s, and the dude's like 73 now. And he's always looked like, since like the 2000s, he's looked like he's about to die tomorrow. He just looks terrible. But yeah, it's a terrible disease.
That thing, just like your spine is like a snake, right? It goes left and right, up and down. His spine goes from like a snake to like a stick. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It's like a severe form of arthritis, but it's in your spine, and yeah, you essentially can't move. And then at some point, I think it was like he said, like in the mid 2000s, he had to stop driving or he wasn't able to drive because he wasn't able to turn his neck because the spine had fused up top in like the C range of your spine. So he wasn't able to turn his neck.
What the C range of the spine is?
Well, like your C2, C1, like your cervical.
How the fuck would I know what a fucking C2
but you know what, like cervical,
C1,
but you know what cervical is?
No.
Cervical is that part of the top part of your spine. And it's all and
so
each
like,
vertebrae.
Like cervix cancer, that's the top part of the spine?
No, the cervix is an organ. is a female organ, and that's a reproductive organ.
This is Southern California fucking. This is why Mr. Malavar, our wrestling teacher, taught me health class in fucking high school. I have no idea what you're talking about here.
They're two extremely different things.
Cervical and cervix.
Cervical is the upper
thing.
part of your spine. It's the upper part of your spine. So your spine is separated into different regions, and each vertebrae has their own number. So like for cervical, I forgot how many vertebrae are in the cervical
like
section.
30 or some shit, right? Like 20, something like that.
Well, I think in the
15?
cervical, I think there's like 6 or 7.
There's a lot of bones in your spine, right?
There are. Yeah. Each vertebrae has its own bone.
Oh, a vertebrae is not the same as the other thing.
The vertebrae is your entire spine.
When people say my fucking like lumbar 519 is
your lumbar is your lower back, so it's part of the lower region of your back.
God, dude, medicine's so dumb.
I had to learn this shit in school, man.
What school? I didn't go to this school where we learned this.
When I went to EMT school, I had to learn all this shit.
Dude, the wrestling coach, Mr. Malavar, taught fucking health class, and he was terrible at it.
Now I had to learn this in the EMT school because we had like neck people with like spinal injuries and especially neck and putting on cervical collars. You know, the big neck braces that you put on.
Yeah, cervix
we had
collars.
to learn. You know what that is.
I know what they look like.
But you also went to the academy. I'm sure they taught you some medical stuff. The police.
They taught us. They taught us how to like prep people to last until you got there.
Oh, okay.
It was more like,
but still,
hey,
you know a little bit about it.
I mean, like I honestly, until just now, I did not realize there was a difference in cervix and cervical.
There's an extreme difference.
Well, now
you cannot replace the cervical part of your spine with the cervix, and vice versa. You cannot do that
because they're not even the same.
They're not even in the same. They're both in the human
right?
body. They're both in the human body, but they're not. They definitely don't serve the same purpose.
See, this is all just. This is. We should rename the sad pod. Is what's happening here.
we're like transitioning into like sad boy season already.
I know.
Oh, that's a spoiler, dude. Anyway, let's get back to the songs. What's your 2B?
So that's 1B. What's my 2B? Oh God, my 2B. My 2B's Jailhouse Rock.
No way, is it really?
Yeah.
Come on.
I think that is an unreal fucking cover. I think it's such a cocky attempt at doing an Elvis song.
But they did it really well.
Dude, they do it so
They
good.
really made it their own.
I love it. They slay it. It's fun. It's exciting. It's kind of sloppy. And Mars gets to like let loose and do what he does best, that bluesy rock style.
Oh, dude, he fucking shreds it on this song.
But it's so cocky. And it's like, wow, dude, I can't believe you fucking did that.
It's cocky, but they made it their own too. They made it their own. No, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It's my 5B. It's my 5B.
Good. As it should be.
I love it. They churched it up to sound like Mötley Crüe. It's fast. It still has the bluesy feel to it, but it's like it's on fucking like crack, man. It's faster. It sounds like it's about to fall apart, and that's what makes it so exciting. The riffs, what Mick is playing like riff wise is so much better than the original. Like Elvis sucks, man. I don't give a fuck. Elvis sucks. He's not that great. He was a good singer. As a musician, yeah, his songs weren't that great. Come on, they really weren't. And just that doesn't even go into the history of it all.
Okay.
But his songs aren't that great, and he's not that great.
Okay.
Outside of being a good singer, he's not that great.
He's not a good singer.
He's okay. He's
he's
good. He's good, but he's definitely not great. He's not up there with like your Sinatra or anything like that.
He served a purpose. Elvis served a purpose. He did something for music. He bridged rock music from black people to white people, and he served a purpose and was great.
Yeah,
and that's why we have Mötley Crüe is because of Elvis.
That's true.
But like really, Elvis wasn't that great.
No, he was not. And then also like, you know, the double bass that Tommy does in the song, it's so good. It's like some Motorhead kind of shit. I fucking love it. Yeah, I just think this is really cool. And then Nikki does that kind of like walking bass line. Fucking sick too, man. Really, really good stuff. I think this is a great song. Great cover.
I always wonder like did Nikki get better at playing bass just be sheer repetition? Can you speak?
Repetition?
Sheer repetition? Or do you think like Mick Mars like told him, hey dude, you need to stop sucking, be better. Here's what you should be playing.
Oh, I'm sure it was Mick Mars. You really think Nikki Sixx is going to go at this time? You really think he's going to go out of his way to become a better musician? No. It's Mick Mars.
Just by playing more music with like the band, you get better. Right? When you jam with the band over and over, week after week, you just get better. And inherently, you will get better. You will take. Yeah. It's human nature. You will take risks. You will do things that's out of your wheelhouse, and you'll perfect those things, and you'll get better.
Unless you're Lars.
But like Nikki Sixx is, that's true. You're right. Nikki Sixx was so fucking bad at the bass.
Yeah, he was.
For so long. Even like Girls, this album, he's not very good, dude. Like there's nothing here. It's like, oh, that was a good bass line. It's like, oh, finally, that's an acceptable bass line that accents everything else that's happening.
You're right. And weirdly enough, this last song, the Jailhouse Rock, the cover, it's the last song on the record, track 10, and it's a live song. It was recorded at the Long Beach Arena, obviously in Long Beach. And yeah, it's weird they didn't even have 10 songs to put on this record. They had to put a live track on here. Yeah. Weird, right?
Yes.
It's super, especially for a band that's so big and established.
They're so dunzo.
What do you mean they're donezo?
They couldn't. So like the whole like sober thing and like, oh, let's get sober.
Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
dude, bullshit. You know they're all dropping off the wagon. That's a facade.
Yeah.
That did not happen whatsoever in any capacity. They are donezo. They cannot write music. This band is starting to resent each other. This band is starting to realize that I don't like working with these people. I don't like partying with these people just because of the addiction. Like Nikki Sixx is coming off of like death, like literally death. And Vince Neil is coming off of death. Like, oh, dude, this band should not exist.
I know.
At this point, this band should not exist.
And and we were talking about, I think it was on the rankings or prior to us recording, we were talking about like the three biggest like partier bands or artists. Ozzy, he has to be number one. And Mötley Crüe a close second, and then probably Keith Moon is like number 3. That's kind of what you and I were talking about. And what I'm getting to is there's the famous story where they were on tour with Ozzy, and they were here in the U.S. and it was like a hot summer day, and Ozzy was wearing like a sundress, like he was cross-dressing, all that kind of shit. And they were out by the pool, and Ozzy was all fucked up, or they were all fucked up, but Ozzy was the most fucked up. And he got down and started snorting ants off of the ground. They're like, what the fuck? And they were trying to what they were doing, they were trying to outdo each other, like in stupid stunts. And then Ozzy gets out and pisses on the ground, and they licks his own piss up. And then Nikki pisses, and then Ozzy, without hesitation, drops down and starts drinking Nikki's piss. And it's just like, dude, Ozzy was out of his fucking mind, man. In the 70s and 80s, he was done. He was crazy. It was unbelievable, all the stories you hear about Ozzy. Like, not even Mötley Crüe could one up him.
And the best part of that story was that Mötley Crüe, they have. I just cracked open a beer there. I know Skip likes to hear when crack open beers.
Yeah, I always crack them when we're recording.
The best part of that story was Mötley Crüe remembers a lot of these stories, and they remember like vividly. Oh yeah, we were at the Hilton in Sunset or whatever it is, and they asked Ozzy like, "Hey, Mötley Crüe said they're the craziest partiers of all time, but when they partied hard with you one time, you did this and this and this." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't fucking remember any of that shit." Like, that's the best part of it. That's what makes him a true goat in the partying, is he doesn't even fucking recall his goat moment of partying.
I think the biggest differences, I mean, I could be completely wrong and I know what I'm talking about, but I think the biggest differences between partying with Ozzy and partying with Mötley Crüe is that Ozzy wasn't going after women. It doesn't seem like it. He just was going out to fucking get fucked up and have a good time with his buddies or just by himself. Like, he didn't even have to be around people. He would get fucked up by himself. And but yeah, Mötley Crüe was always about the girls. Chasing tail,
man. It's like,
fucking girls and all that kind of shit. But Ozzy you never really read stories about Ozzy fucking girls.
What was the end goal? Like, Mötley Crüe's end goal, it served a purpose, right? You said, like, they got drunk, they got crazy because they wanted to hook up with girls. Yeah. Ozzy's end goal, what was your end goal?
Just to get fucked up. That was it.
For what reason? Just to get fucked up? That's it?
Yeah, that's what it seems
scary.
like.
That's scary.
Yeah. And the dude's still alive.
Doing it for no reason other than just to fucking do it. And he doesn't look bad and we talked about like Joe Biden and how like Tommy Lee doesn't look bad. Like, Ozzy doesn't look bad for how much stuff he's done over his career.
Yeah. I mean, now he has the Parkinson's and everything. So, I mean, you're seeing some of that like in more recent interviews and stuff. But, I mean, even still, with the Parkinson's...
But his face isn't like falling off his fucking head.
Well, that's true,
I mean, he's not like... He still looks put together.
Yeah, that's true. But we're also comparing, a fucking rock star to the president of the United States. So...
Who, realistically has been fucking partying since the 70s. Like, Joe Biden's been fucking around since the 70s, dude.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're totally right.
Like, you can get the fuck out of here. You can tell me these presidents don't fucking party like rock stars.
Oh, yeah. Look at Bohemian Grove.
Come on.
I mean, that's exactly what Bohemian Grove was. It was an outlet for them to go for like a week or two to just fucking party.
To get
fucking
wild.
Get crazy. Yeah, that's what it was.
And I have nothing against presidents getting wild. I really
not
don't.
At all.
It's a tough
job.
job.
Look at fucking John F. Kennedy.
Fucking
he did it in fucking public. Yeah.
Supposedly. I get it. But come on. Since it's the 70s, though? Like, come on.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, dude. Never mind. I don't even want to go down the roll.
It's a long rabbit hole that we could go on, but that's. I have one more B. That's it.
Okay, what do you got?
I have 1.5 more Bs.
What do you got?
Here's my 0.5 B. I like Nana. I do.
Nona. I thought that was Nona, but that's fine.
I don't know. What do people call their grandmas? I never really had like a grandma. I've only had two grandmas, right? My dad's side and my mom's side. My mom's side, she died really, really young.
Yeah.
I don't remember her. My dad's side, my grandma was a terrible person. She died. Don't give a fuck. I called her Nana. But like, looking back on it, I don't like to call her Nana because she was a terrible person. I'm glad she's off this earth. So like, what do you call Nana? Do you call it Nana? Because
I called one of my grandmas, I called her Nana, or I never
had a cool grandma, so I don't know what you call fucking grandmas.
That's what I called her. But I mean, I guess you could call her Nana, but I called her Nana.
It's spelled like Nona. Nobody calls Nona.
Why? My grandma's name was spelled Nana.
Yeah, that's Nana.
That's how we spelled it. Yeah.
That's when you say grandma, like Nana, like you're a fucking child, like Nana.
Yeah, because you are a child when you come up with that name.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like I never had a grandma, so like the only like grandmas I know was one that I fucking never looked, and then like neighbor Dave has, I guess no, that's not his grandma, that's Diana's mom. I like her, but she's Nana, cool. And I call her Nana.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not.
I guess it comes down to like a term of endearment. Using those names, it's a term of endearment.
Whatever. Nana, the fifth track. That's my last B. It's a ballady song. I like it though. It's dark.
It's not even a ballad.
Somber. It's a ballad.
It's like an interlude. It's an interlude.
It's a ballad just because they
didn't.
It's a ballad in structure. It's a ballad because that's what they're doing with it. It's a sad song. It's about Nikki's grandma who died while recording this record and this song. But it's not a true ballad because of its length. It's a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Yeah. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it just gets the job done, and we're done. Call it a day.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing I noticed today, it finally dawned on me, and I sent you the song, so I want to hear your opinion on it. So after listening to Nona today, I immediately remembered this song was directly lifted from a song from the Final Fantasy VII video game, Vincent Valentine's theme song, The Vampire's Lament. The acoustic guitar in that song is identical to the acoustic guitar in this Mötley Crüe song. And I mean, it's almost identical. It's almost identical to it. What did you think?
Okay, so which came first? Final Fantasy VII was not 1987, right?
1997.
Exactly. So one was not lifted from the other. It would have to be vice versa. I think you said that Mötley Crüe lifted from Final Fantasy VII.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the other way around. I meant the other way around.
And then going forward, I don't think so. I
really?
So two things. It would just be like, dude, they're just like arpeggiating that power chord, that do. That's not, Mötley Crüe didn't invent that. They didn't perfect it. It's just a normal thing basic bitches in rock music do. Another thing is like the chord progression. I didn't see like the chord progression in the Final Fantasy VII track song being the same as this one. So while they're similar in like the acoustic kind of like delivery, I think that's as far as it goes.
Okay. Yeah. I value your opinion on that.
That's the nicest thing. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, dude. I'm blushing over here.
I think that's the only time I've ever said that to you, or to anybody, for that matter.
That's the only nice thing you've ever said to me on this podcast. That is true. You cut that out.
Oh, it's so good.
You bleep it out. Just a long boop.
Oh man, that's so stupid. But also, okay, so another thing, another reason why I was thinking that as well was because a lot of the soundtrack to that Final Fantasy game, a lot of it was, it's never been taught, it's never been like brought up by the people who composed the game. but a lot of the music sounds like it was directly inspired from Twin Peaks. The music from Twin Peaks. There's so much in that Final Fantasy game that sounds like it came from Twin Peaks. So that's why I was thinking, like,
interesting.
Based off of that alone, it could be that, you know, I forgot the composer's name, but I think maybe he was just like taking from various things that he liked from American music. And, you know, that being Mötley Crüe, Twin Peaks, because I mean, Twin Peaks came out in 1990, I believe. So, I mean, 3 years after this, I mean, it would make sense.
When did Final Fantasy, I guess, 1 come out?
1987, I think.
Yeah.
Or 88, 87 or 88.
That's fucking, isn't it wild to think that video games have been around that long?
I know, right? I know.
That's crazy. Okay.
Anyway, 0-2.
Yeah, I just don't know too much about it.
So, another song I want to talk about is Wild Side.
You got to talk about Wild Side, the opener. 3B.
The opener.
3B.
Perfect opener. Perfect opener. It's my 2B. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck. 2B. What do you got on this one?
So again, we talked about earlier, they do intros well. They know how to kickstart an album with a fucking great song. They start off with that, like, some type of like guitar effect, right? And then they get into that riffage, that and loud drums, and then we start.
Yeah.
Everything just goes. They almost do it every time, and every time it gets me pumped. I like it. I like there's a lot of layers here. You can really just hear how Mars is like, I don't know, the solo guitarist, because there's not, I don't know, I said there's not a lot of layers. There's not a lot of like rhythm guitar in the background, harken back to like Live Fast, Diarrhea, or Shout of the Devil. It's just him. It's just a band grooving.
And once again, Mick loves to do those little swells, those little guitar swells. They're not like as big and as extended as Eddie Van Halen does, but they're there. And it's just a killer way to start the song, start off the record. The riff is fucking solid. It has that kind of like thrashy chug to it, but not like Pantera or Metallica or shit like that. But it's fucking there, man. It's super fucking solid. And did you notice in this song, like the clanking of metal? Like, it sounds like somebody was like hitting a metal, like a piece of metal with a hammer.
No.
Like as this like percussive thing.
No.
But it would come in like randomly, like I think it was like going into each verse, like the first bar would have like two hits of like somebody hitting a metal plate or something. It's fucking weird, man. No reason for it at all. And then, yeah, Mick doing his little pinch harmonics. He does it he's so classy about his pinch harmonics. They're not Zakk Wylde style. They're not Randy Rhoads style. They're perfectly placed, and they're not over the top. They're not super waily. I fucking love his pinch harmonics. He's so good at it. So fucking good at it. And I do also want to give props to Tommy Lee. I love his drumming on this song. Just the eighth notes on the hi-hat. It's fucking good, man. It gives the whole song this kind of like dancey feel, and then dropping into that chorus that is just so iconic and so catchy and sing-songy. I fucking love it. I love this song. It's such a good song.
Like, going back to like the pinch harmonic thing, Van Halen released Fair Warning in late 81.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Mean Street's opener, right? The opener to Fair Warning.
Yeah.
Like Eddie's doing like those, like, I'm not even gonna mouth it with my mouth, but he's doing those like pinch harmonic things, but kind of just not really pinch harmonics, just hitting harmonics, just deadening strings on the 12th, on the 7th, wherever he's doing it. And that's what Mick Mars is kind of doing here. And this is 87, so it's, 5, 6, 7 years past that. But I like that Mick Mars is getting better at the guitar. I like that he's listening to, and like Van Halen were their idols. They Mötley Crüe set out to be a Van Halen kind of like ripoff. They wanted to be Van Halen, just wilder. They achieved that goal, but that's what they started out as. They didn't start out to be like a Kiss cover band. They started out to be like, hey, I want to be like Van Halen, but I want to be fucking wild. And they did it. I like that Mick Mars got better at the guitar as they went on. But I can't say that about everybody else. I don't think anybody else in the band got
improved.
better the way Mick Mars did.
I agree with you on that. I agree with that. And honestly, going back to our previous conversation a while back is Van Halen was also one of those top party bands, like one of the crazier bands too. They could break into the top 3 craziest bands.
But they were never self-destructive. I think Mötley Crüe was almost like deliberately self-destructive.
No, but like Eddie Van Halen was though. Dude, he was pretty self-destructive. Like if you read a lot of like the stories about him, he was pretty fucked up. Not only, I mean, he was bad. He was
like
bad.
like when he fucking showed up to Fred Durst's house with a gun and
dude, that story is wild. If it's true, that story is fucking wild. I don't know how true it is, but that shit is fucking nuts.
Yes.
But you know, it's like when you hear that story and you hear other people talk about Eddie Van Halen, like, oh, you're like, oh, dude, that could be really true because he was fucking nuts.
Like, dude, it's I don't know, man. You open the door and Eddie Van Halen's got a gun in your face. You just you give him what he wants. I don't know.
Oh man, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
but Wild Side, good stuff. And then there's that kind of like bluesy bridge that comes along, kind of out of nowhere, but they make it work. It sounds fucking great. So it's a good one, man. It's a good one.
It's a good song. It's a banger. For sure.
All right. And then, yeah, the video for this one is just like them, a live performance. You know, you could clearly tell. I mean, it's the whole thing is them performing on stage in front of like, you know, probably 20,000 people, but it was the actual album track, but then they dubbed in like fake audience noise to make it seem like it's authentic, but it really wasn't. It was so obvious. But the video's fine. It's just Vince Neil running around the stage doing laps. But
doing laps. Gotta do laps.
Gotta do laps. I don't know, man. Do we have anything else on this one?
That's really like, honestly, that's my bulk of it. That's my bulk of it. That's the bulk of the notes that I have. I have notes for every song here.
But I mean, I don't know.
All in the name of like, that's how the fuck is that even like not talked about? And honestly, like post like Me Too movement, how the fuck has like nobody come out and said that Mötley Crüe like did unspeakable things to them? That's beyond me. I don't get that shit.
Yeah, you're right. You're
like, dude, they have
this song especially
about it. The fuck out of here.
Just blatantly talking about the girl's 15 and wanting to fuck her when she's 15. Wait, oh, dude, what's the lyric? Hold on, let me look it up real quick. It's like the first verse in that song. Damn it, I wish I had it written down so I could just talk about it right now. All in the name of, what does he say? Oh yeah, so this is the first verse. He says, she's only 15, she's the reason that I can't sleep. You say illegal, I say legal. I say legal's never been my scene. Oh yeah, I try like hell, but I'm out of control. That's the first verse of that song. What? What?
That's like we live in a world where it's cool to be like edgy and it's cool to be like breaking laws, all laws, including this law, and it's just like, come on, my guy.
I know it's
like,
terrible.
come on, dude.
And at this
like,
point,
at better than that, dude.
They were like what, 27, 28 when this record came out, probably. You know, and talking about a 15-year-old girl. Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, the whole like if you're like 18 and she's 15 is one thing, but when you're 27 and she's 15, that's
yeah. That's bad.
But again,
but
like
also,
how's nobody come out and said like Mötley Crüe was the worst fucking thing that's ever been? Because they wrote a fucking song about it. It's like, they were the biggest pieces of shit on earth.
Well, that's the other thing. Like when it comes to like music from the 70s and 80s, you don't see a lot of people come forward about these kinds of things happening, because I think the girl, I mean, I don't know what I think. I mean, it was happening all the time, and it was just like that was the scene. Like if you were there, like that's what was expected. Not to say that it's right by any means, but that's what was expected.
It was more normal then than it is now. But like still, even if it was accepted that it was okay for them to have sex with underage girls back then, like Mötley Crüe, the group, like arguably that maybe has had sex with more girls than any other band known to existence, even more than like Gene Simmons, who claimed to have sex with more than 1,000 girls.
I know.
Ugh.
Or was it Wilt Chamberlain, like 1,000 women or something like that?
That I understand. The dude was a baller for sure. The biggest baller of all time. Come on. Dude, have you seen Wilt Chamberlain? The fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ. I'd fuck that dude. But like Mötley Crüe, it's like, come on, man. Like just because it was okay back then, like no one has come. I find it fascinating that no one has come out and said like, yeah, here's what happened.
Yeah, you're right.
Like how?
You're right.
How?
I think maybe it's because everything was consensual. Like it wasn't like the Bill Cosby thing where, he drugged all the women, or maybe it was because they didn't feel taken advantage of. Maybe that's what it is.
Or like perceived consensual.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying consenting when you're 15 and he's 22. That's not right. That's not consent. But maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. I really. But it was also a way different time. Like I brought it up on the podcast like before. Even like going back to like the 50s and 60s and shit. Dude, if you were underage, like it was okay to get married to somebody who was in their early 20s. Like it happened.
Jerry Lee Lewis did it.
Well, that was his cousin. That was his cousin, and she was like 13. So, and he was like 30. So that's a little much. But it's just like,
out of here with fucking Wilt Chamberlain. They just scored 100 points in a game. Damn.
I'm just saying that's a lot of women. I think it was more than 1,000. It was a crazier number than 1,000.
Bro, you score 100 points in a game.
Okay, who cares about the 100? Who cares about that?
That's a lot of fucking points, though.
When it comes to like having sex with chicks, who cares? Okay, let's see. How many women has Wilt Chamberlain slept with?
It's got to be 1,000.
Oh, spelling is hard, dude.
It's got to be 1,000.
20,000 women. So let's break that down. Let's do the math real quick.
Did you say 20,000?
20,000. That's what it says.
That's
his claim.
Okay,
that's his claim. So
20,000?
Let's just say over 15 years. Let's say over 15 years. So 15 times 365 days a year. That's 5475. That's days. 5475. 20,000 divided by 5475. He's having sex with 3.6 women a day for 15 years.
Come on, Wilt.
He's having sex with roughly 4 women every day for 15 years.
That's not possible.
No, it's not.
That's not possible.
No way.
See, I thought like 2,000 would have been like an achievable feat and likely if you score 100 points in the game. But 20,000, that's just silly boy talk.
It is. Unless he's like having orgies constantly with like a 20, 30 person orgy, then you could rack those numbers up.
Okay, well then you're kind of cheating at that point.
Yeah. It's not like an intimate encounter with several different women. Also, like, how are you gonna perform 4 times a day? I mean, it's possible. Not unheard
every
of.
Day, though? Every day,
yeah, for 15 years? No, come on.
No, not just every day for a week, dude, or a month or a year. For 15 years? The fuck out of here. Oh,
it's silly. It's silly. And 15 years is being like generous. You know what I mean? That's like his, I don't know how many years he played in the NBA, but 15 on average for a guy like him. That sounds about right.
But the dude did score 100 points in the game. That's pretty unreal.
It is fucking, and that was before the 3-point line came into play.
That
makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, that's silly boy talk.
Oh boy. Anyway.
0-2. Here we go.
Mötley Crüe. Let's wrap it up. I mean, because obviously we're going to do Mötley Crüe again in the future. There are also other stories we haven't talked about, things we haven't brought up.
There's so many stories.
There's a lot of shit. But yeah, let's wrap this one up with girls. Because like I said, we're probably going to do Shout at the Devil and probably the first record sometime in the future. Live Fast Diarrhea. Anyway, what do you got? And then we'll rate the record based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got? Go.
All right. So like girls, it holds a spot in the 3rd spot here in my rankings. I don't think it'll ever be. There's no fucking way to be 1 or 2. It's just not good enough. But I do think that the title track, Girls, maybe like objectively the most iconic Mötley Crüe song, right?
Yeah.
Because when you think of Mötley Crüe, you think of the debauchery. You think of them just trying to get with girls. And so Girls, 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 the title track, that's probably the most like indicative, thing of Mötley Crüe. I get it. But this record, dude, there's a lot of bad stuff on this record. There's a stinker, ballad here. Mick Mars, even though he's a great guitarist, he's not allowed to do the great guitarist thing. Tommy Lee, he's a good like soloist, and he can do cool things solo wise, and he's in this little fucking.
He's a good
cage,
performer,
and he circles. Like with Travis Barker took a lot from Tommy Lee. Travis Barker took a lot from Tommy Lee.
Oh yeah, totally.
Dude, the no shirt, the cage aesthetic where you just spin me above everybody else, twirl me around. Yeah. Like Travis Barker took a lot from Tommy Lee, but Tommy Lee is just not a good songwriter. Vince Neil is not a good singer. He's a good front man. He's not a great front man. And like Nikki Sixx is an amazing lyricist. He's an amazing songwriter, but the fool has no fucking business picking up any instrument whatsoever because he is not good at anything. This band truly is, and it's just it's so cliche to even say it, but this band is like a Mötley Crüe of nobodies, a ragtag team. It's like this band is like Rogue One, right? Like fucking Rogue One trying to steal the plans for the Death Star. That's what they are. They're bound. They're born to lose. They're a bunch of nobodies, and they achieve something great.
No,
which was not
yo.
That's not even a Bouncing Soul song. That's a cover too, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cover. But like this group should not even exist in this capacity. It really shouldn't. It's just everybody. I don't even get it, to be honest. I can't even have my final thoughts because everyone's a piece of shit in this fucking group.
Yeah.
But they're all pieces of shit together, I guess. So it works out.
They had the ambition.
Know, dude. I mean, like this is a 2 out of 3. That's fine.
2 out of 3.
I'll listen to this again. I would never buy this in the vinyls. I don't care to listen to this in its entirety outside of just like, I feel like listening to Girls Girls Girls, whatever. So 2 out of 3 at best. This could only go down. It will never go up. 2 out of 3.
Okay, got it. All right, my final thoughts. Yeah, I think this band was so successful because of their ambition and that they wanted to be famous, that they all had the same goal. Outside of Mick, they all had the same goal. They all wanted to fucking chase tail and fuck girls. That was it. That was all they wanted to do. And that desire was strong enough to where they did everything possible to do so. And they were known as the party band. I mean, when you read the stories too about like the fucking insane parties, like there was something I watched today where Vince Neil was talking about how when he was 16, his parents went out of town and he threw a party at his house and 300 people showed up. The dude was 16. You're 16. How do you get 300 people to show up? Even like back
fucking
then.
Know 300 people, dude.
Even back then, back when like house parties were like a big thing. Dude, how do you get 300 people to show up? And I guess it was just fucking wild. So it's like they had the know-how, they had the ambition, and it fucking worked for them. It totally worked for them, and they made a giant career out of fucking girls and making good music. Yeah, and this record is truly I think out of all of their records, this is the best. This record is the best representation of the band because it has all the chops, it has the songs, and it has the look and the attitude. Some people might argue Theater Pain, but the fucking music sucked, and it was way too over the top. Shout at the Devil was still it's a great record, but image-wise, it was still a little too. It was more about like the shock. But Girls, Girls, Girls had the shock a little bit, but it was more about what the band represented, and that was chasing girls. That's what it was. I mean, the fucking title of the record is Girls, Girls, Girls. Come on. And it's the 4 of the guys. 2 of them are on motorcycle, on Harleys. Come on, dude. This is Mötley Crüe. This record is Mötley Crüe. Hands down. And I love this record. I really do. I do like this record a lot.
Those
And
are words, dude.
I'm going to give this, I want to give it a 2.75 out of 3.
Oh, God. That's
But
so high.
I might give it a 2.5. No, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to give it a 2.75. This record is so much fun.
Out of spite.
And it makes
There
me,
you go.
and
That's right.
it's 2.75. It's so good. It's so much fun. I have a great time listening to it. You do too. You've said that as well. It immediately takes you to a time that you were never around, but you know it was a fucking blast. Like for an album like this to transport you to a different mindset like that is so cool. You're just instantly happy listening to this record. You're just having fun listening. How many records can you say that about? You just have fun listening to it.
I mean,
This is one of them. 2.75 for me.
We have fun listening to this because we are males and we can do whatever we want on the earth. So,
I mean, I guess when you put it that way, it sounds a little misogynistic, but it's not that. It's not even like going out and fucking girls. It's not that or being shitty to women. It's not that at all. It's just,
you're right.
it's just fun music.
For
It's
us,
just straight fun
really
music.
just, I want to go watch a cool fucking band play. I want to get
Yeah.
really drunk and I want to like jump off buildings and throw like fucking fire extinguishers down stairwells,
Down
and,
holes.
and drive cars off roofs. Like you know what I mean? Like, I just want to do
Yeah.
fun shit.
Like we're the weird part of that where we're not fantasizing or thinking about the girl part of it. We're thinking about what can we do that's really stupid but makes us laugh.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to. And you and I were talking about that before we were podcasting when I told you about those kids I saw carrying a pallet down the street today. It's just like when you're like a 12, 13-year-old kid, you just want to do dumb shit.
what can we
and
light
for-
on fire? Like, what can
Yeah.
we set on fire?
And for our group of friends, our small group of friends, that kind of mindset lasted through well into our mid 20s. So
I mean, like, to be fair, that mindset is still there today.
it is,
It's just
but we don't
are
act on it.
very, very much more reserved about it.
Yes. But sometimes when you get us all together, San Jose, and
That's true.
we do some stupid shit.
San Jose was wild.
That was fun. We didn't do anything bad or illegal. We just were stupid.
But stupid.
Yeah. We were like 30. Anyway. 0-2. 2.75. I don't give a fuck. 2.75 out of 3.
High, dude. That's fucking
I don't care,
high.
man. I love this record. It's so much
Okay.
fucking fun.
All right.
So yeah, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, tell all your friends. We got one more album that we're doing, and then we're going to get into Sad Boy season, 3 weeks of Sad Boy music. And so stay tuned for that. Try to guess what we're doing. So thank you for listening. And that's it. That's all.